3, it kept my kept certain very, very big issues that I raise off of video. And a lot of people like seeing the courtroom video, but when I go to comment on these things on my text, I'm just not gonna get as many hits. People don't want to look at text, and I don't know, maybe I'll figure some way around that to get people's interest so that they could see that things such as these vehicle inspection stickers, they're not required. They are not required for the vast majority of automobiles on the road. Let me see if I can't find that statute real quick so I could show you guys, because I don't know when I'm going to make another video. This stuff just gets exhausting. Give me a second here. I would pause it if I could, but this type of audio recorder doesn't allow me to simply pause. I have to stop and then start a new recording. So here, 280, is it 286? Oh, shoot. I don't know if it's 286. There. Okay, so this is one of the things I was hit with as a violation. All right, now this is absolutely huge. They're raking in millions from people that aren't actually subject to this. So there's these little white stickers. They have a month and a year on them and some other info, I guess, but they go on your bumper over here in Hawaii. And basically, if a cop sees you without one, they're going to stop you and ticket you. The cops, you're actually breaking the law. Here's why. So let's read this. Operation of a vehicle or moped without a certificate of inspection. Whoever operates, permits the operation of, causes to be operated, or parks any vehicle or moped on a public highway without a current official certificate of inspection. Ah, jeez. Did it again. Here. Alright, so you guys get back, read this. Just pause the video. I'm going to keep reading. Without a current official certificate of inspection issued under Section 286.26, this is the critical thing, shall be fined not more than $100. All right, so if we don't look this up, it may sound like every single vehicle has to have this certificate of inspection. But let's go ahead and look up this section. What does this section say? Because it's only the official certificate of inspections issued under this section that they have to have. So let's go look at it. Here it is. I guarantee you they had to be shitting bricks behind the scenes with all the stuff I was bringing up. They'll just like, get this guy out of here, punish him as best as you can so he doesn't want to deal with this, but get him out of here. Here's the section, certificates of inspection. The following vehicle shall, that's mandatory, doesn't say may, shall be certified as provided in subsection E once every year. Now, these are all legal terms. I'm going to have to pull it up real quick too so you guys could see this and understand why this doesn't apply. I know exactly where to go for this. 286.2. Alright, so this is the definitions section. Alright. See, 286. This is definitions for the whole, this whole section, 286. Alright, so the first thing we want to look at is truck. Alright, truck is going to be in parentheses, so that's not the one we're looking for just yet. Right there it is. Truck means a motor vehicle designed, used, or maintained primarily for the transportation of property. Transportation, okay, that's moving goods for hire. You're a carrier. You're getting paid to move something in some form or another. Now you're going to see some of these other things here, and see motor vehicle. There's motor vehicle, but we have trucks, truck tractors. Just stick with me here. Promise it's worth it. All right, so there's a truck tractor, and it describes another type of truck designed to carry a load. Okay, and we've got Semi-trailers. Is that in here somewhere? Might not be in here. There it is, semi-trailer. Okay. See, these are each types of motor vehicles. And then pull trailers, they're in there too. Stick with me. Okay, so here's pull trailer. Read these definitions on your own. But you can see each of those is defined. But guess what? We're only talking about these things if they have a gross weight more than 10,000 pounds. Does your daily driver, as people, the layperson would call it, does that weigh more than 10,000 pounds? No. Your typical so-called truck, not a legal definition truck, but a truck is a half-pound or a half-ton truck. You're looking at maybe like 5,000 pounds. Okay, what I had is definitely under that. The cop witness and my DMV evidence both showed it was less than this. So I did not fit under this category. The second day of hearings, I'll put that up at some point, but the prosecution didn't even try to rebut a single one of my arguments. They just submitted under the evidence that they had submitted, and obviously the judge ignored this, because if they acknowledge this, whoops, there goes some, God knows how many millions of dollars, because they can't enforce this against people. All right, so let's keep looking at these automobile or motor vehicle types. Buses. Bus. Okay, so there's a bus. See, that's defined. Rental, or you drive. These are in there. Taxi cabs are in there. Mopeds are in there. Okay, people, let's look at something that's not in there. Look at this. Okay. Now, even then, this is, if we were going to just pretend that transportation didn't mean the business of moving people for hire. So this is like an Uber. That's what this would be. But if we were going to pretend and play their own game and treat this as if it doesn't mean what we all know it means, that it's an active business, let's say that this did include people that weren't engaged in business, just for the sake of argument. Okay. Do you see passenger car listed as one of the types of vehicles required to have that? Let's do a quick search on it. Is it in here? Oh no, it's not in here. Wow. How many people in the state of Hawaii are putting certificates of inspection on their alleged passenger cars, and it's not even listed as one of the categories of vehicles required to have it? How many people are doing that? Are you doing it? I guarantee you're doing it. There's very few people rebelling against this right now. Very few. And it's because the courts are corrupt. They'll screw you. Some of them will toss things out. Part of me thinks I was lucky over in California. The other part was like, I don't know, maybe, maybe they realized like what they were getting into, because I was, on top of every single argument over there. And over here, I've been more fuzzy. My health hasn't been great. My memory has been more poor. Over in California, I was able to do oral argument. I had the stuff memorized very well. My memory has not been great, and it's coming back to some degree, but folks, it doesn't take a good memory to read this and see that a passenger car is not included in the type of automobiles required to have certificates of inspection. So cops, every single cop in Hawaii that watches this, you could say, well, he's not a judge. Yeah, I'm not a judge. You don't need to be a judge to read. I'm sure most of you did school. That's where we all learned to read, right? You know how to read, I hope. So, this issue of just following authority to follow them is not working. It's allowing corruption to just fester. And I know there are cops out there that, think that they're following the law, they're doing the right thing, or trying to do the right thing, follow the letter of the law. But unless you're actually reading it yourself, you don't know if a lawyer, a bar member is lying to you. And guess what? Most of them are. Most of them involved in the traffic related thing, traffic court, are lying to you, both on the defense and on the prosecution, and the bar member sitting there in that judge's seat. They are flat out lying to your face. And I know what they're doing. Most people don't take a lot of these context into consideration. Cops are scared of lawyers. That's why they will ask people on videos, "Are you a lawyer?" Because they're scared of lawyers. They know that lawyers will successfully win things. They've also been, many of them have been filtered. They've been filtering the intelligence so that these people aren't necessarily as intelligent as they could be. The intelligence of cops has probably dropped over the years due to these filters. The cops just, they don't want to face a lawsuit by lawyers. They're scared to death of that sort of thing. Nobody wants to face it. Doctors don't want to face it. Anybody that has a license to do things, has a typical profession, they don't want to face it. It's a scary prospect. What's that tell you? We live under legal tyranny. These people are tyrants. Every single state needs voter initiatives set up by the voters, banning all lawyers from government positions, every single one. They need to ban the Bar Association from each state. There used to be a separation of powers, but with lawyers sitting in the executive branch, the judiciary, and the legislative, they've breached that. They work together for their association, and there is no separation of powers. So you're not going to get out of any of this stuff by, trying to vote in new politicians or anything like that. You need to do voter initiatives that will change the voting process so that it goes back to paper ballot and it's managed where there can't be as much fraud. You need to have voter initiatives to bar all lawyers, just like the original 13th Amendment for the United States Constitution did. Bar them, ban them from the government. They can never hold a government position ever in their life, especially if they've been a lawyer. It's done. They're an oppressive class. They've established themselves as an oppressive class, and they use their intellect and absolute lack of morals and scruples to pit people against one another. It's the Hegelian dialectic. It's the same system. It's the adversarial system. They'll use that. Now, I would love, if you're a cop, contact me. Contact me on this video. Tell me how I'm wrong with my interpretation of this. I know I'm right. I have no problem with reading things. I have a high education. People do not have to have a high education to have a high intelligence and a very strong capacity for learning. They don't need any of that. It's a appeal to authority when people do that. I'm going to cite that right now just so the average person knows where I'm coming from. I completed part graduate school, almost finished. My health caused me to have to bail out, and I was I've been, primarily bedbound for years. So that's why I started reading a lot of this stuff. At one point, I was employed as a psychologist with the federal government, with the National Institute of Mental Health, working in the Laboratory of Brain and Cognition section on neurocircuitry. I did brain imaging research to help determine different functions of the brain during different tasks. The very last project, I was completely unsupervised. I did it all on my own. I was working with multi-million dollar equipment, magnetoencephalography equipment, and I set up all the software. I wrote the code. I brought in all the subjects. I did everything. I wrote at least 50% of the paper that came out of that, and it would have been more, but there's politics in science, and unfortunately, I was stuck with second author because you don't rock the boat or you don't necessarily rise through the ranks. So it was kind of like a freebie giving that over to the first author. I did get a schedule award. I won like $3,000 or $6,000 extra for that project. So I know how to read, and I can function on par with these people in terms of understanding these rules, reading these codes, and I will have more for you in another video because this is actually dragging on. I feel like I'm not quite, I don't feel like I'm necessarily rambling. I am slightly, but all of this is tied in with my case, and if I don't do this now, you may not see another video for another month because I just get exhausted with this stuff. I'm really burned out right now, but as of right now, the public can see the corruption that was in my case, and they can see at the tail end of this video. I might even chop this off and make it a separate video. They can see that the passenger car is not listed as a category required to have that inspection sticker, and if you don't get it, they will pull you over, possibly impound your car, just give you hell, and you're going to be paying fines. And if you try to make these arguments, they'll treat you like you're a mental defective, like you don't know what you're doing. They'll just pretend and just go right over you because the judges and the prosecution in Hawaii are basically a mafia. They're completely and utterly corrupt. So that's that. Please thumbs up, share it, comment, help me get this out to other people. If you do those things, it helps the algorithms, and it helps get this into recommended video sections for other people to see, because otherwise most of my stuff does seem to be getting suppressed, and the public needs this. There's not going to be any change in this country. The corruption will not go away until the public comes to terms. They have to come to terms and grips with the fact that their government is 100% ineffective with this sort of corruption. It doesn't work for them. It will not work for them. In fact, it's working against them. And it's working against them with deadly consequences. So get it together, people. Pass this on. And, you know, if you see my donate thing, please donate. I've done all this stuff all on my own. And it's cost a good deal of money that I was very fortunate to be able to pull together last year. And that opportunity, that window's gone thanks to eBay. But anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.